Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Here we go! It is Thursday, September 29th, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, everybody. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon, Ryan and Monty. You know it's Haircut Thursday, so I feel really good.
Do you get your haircut every week?
Every Thursday, yeah.
Really?
Because my hair grows fast on my face, so it's like if I don't get, give it a little close-up of Fletch, if you will. If I don't get it cut every week, like the hair on my face will start to grow back a little bit, and it's, it looks unkept. My hair on my head I don't necessarily need. I really could just do a lineup every week, but when your barber is as good as JD, shout out to my boy JD. Got me in the game.
Gorgeous, Braylon. You look gorgeous.
That. Thank you, man. I'm going out of town. So I'm, just getting ready to get my woodwardsports.com on elsewhere.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear more about that. But first, I want to say good afternoon to the man, the myth, the legend, the Maz, Tom Mazawey.
Hello, Ryan.
You like that intro, buddy?
Thank you, Ryan. Hello, Braylon. You're looking great as always.
Why you got to make fun of Dick Clark?
Man. I don't. I love Dick Clark. He was my guy. But Drew ruined me on it. He's got that cut of thank you, Ryan. And that's Dick just stuck Clark in my head. I'm sorry.
It used to be the ball drop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dick Clark.
Yeah. Way before that was American Bandstand.
You ever go to the ball? You ever go to that?
So if you listen to New Yorkers talk about it, Maz talk about it, they say only clowns and out of towners go. Am I lying, man?
No, I went twice.
It's only the clowns, and okay, well, you and I are both in that clown category because I went once. Because I set it up. So this is when I was playing for the New York Jets. This would have been the second year. We had dinner reservations at Philippe, which was on 54 between Park and Madison, I do believe. And then we were going to go hang out at the club. But I purposely set dinner so that when we were leaving to go, we would be able to kind of see the crowd from the sides. And it's as crazy as it looks on TV. It is that crazy in person as well. But I love craziness, man. So I jumped out of the car. I went and ran 2 blocks, kind of like got in the middle for a second, and then came back and went out. But it's every bit as crazy as it is on TV, and it doesn't stop. Like, the party just goes and goes and goes and goes.
Man, you went twice?
Well, I lived there, man.
Yeah, I know, but you had so much fun the first time you went again.
It was strictly when I was dating this girl, and she ran at Central Park. There's always a run prior to the New Year's Eve ball drop. It's like the turkey trot.
Okay.
It's like that. So I'd go, I supported her, she did the run. And then we went and watched the ball drop.
Was it a run with clothes?
Yeah, it was a run with clothes.
Do you remember her name?
Of course. It was Catherine.
Oh, really?
Not my Kathy, but it was another.
She was at the time.
It was Catherine at the time.
You trying to get mad at trouble.
Now, here's the kicker on New Year's Eve, guys. Take it from a guy that lives there. Once the ball drops, everybody gets swept out of there.
Yeah.
And New York City becomes a ghost town, literally. If you drive in the morning, because I would close the bar later on in life. I would close the bar at 4:30, and drive home back to Jersey about 5:30.
How long does that drive take?
As the crow flies, it's 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
No traffic, 20 minutes max. Traffic, it depends on when you go. It could take you an hour and change. But depends where you're going in New York. It depends what tunnel you take. If the Lincoln's full, you go to the Holland Tunnel. Or you go up to the GW Bridge, depending if you go to Yankee Stadium or whatever.
Yeah.
Depends where you go. But if you drive in at that time of the day, you would think it was the apocalypse that hit New York. It is dead, empty, quiet.
What happened to all the people?
They go back and they were drunk and they go back and they don't come out till probably noon or 1 o'clock the next day.
How did we start talking about this?
Because we're talking about the haircut. We're talking.
I don't know. I have no idea.
How did we get?
No, Dick Clark.
Dick Clark. I was just asking.
Thank you, Ryan.
I'm just sitting here asking questions.
That's okay.
There we go, man. Oh, speaking of asking questions, you know how we talk about the Maz? We did this video when we were doing Maz's videos of the day. I kind of missed those a lot. We're talking about the young kids, getting on the treadmill, if you will, and starting the sport early, and kids are 7 and 8 and 9. They're doing the drills. That's how you see guys at Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, be as good as they are young. Well, you know something else? You can start them young. You can start kids doing interviews young. I think I may have the next Ryan Ermanni. If you will, Fletch. Do you have that going for me, brother? It's on you.
So I'm going to be interviewing Braylon Edwards today. So Braylon Edwards Edwards. What team did you play for?
So I went to University of Michigan. I played for the Cleveland Browns. I played for the New York Jets, the 49ers, and the Seahawks.
Pretty darn good.
That is Grayson Ballou, daughter of our own Jimmy Ballou. Shout out to Jimmy. So she was pretty good. She came in there. She knew what she wanted to ask. She fired off. She introduced herself first. Ryan, I mean, this is your job. What'd you give her?
Well, if she follows in her father's footsteps, now Jimmy is one of the great sales
She's on
guys.
her way already.
Yeah, one of the great sales representatives here at Woodward Sports. If you get a call from Jimmy, pick that up.
Pick it up. Pick it up.
But Jimmy can talk and talk and talk more than anybody I've ever met in my life. So if she picks up anything from her dad, she's already got the chops, man. She's already got the chops.
No doubt about it.
Too. But it was a pleasant interview for a change, and she came out very confident. I was excited to work with her.
She is a doll.
She is
So great.
She kept coming back to Maz and I. She kept saying, she was like, we got to work on this because next time I forgot my information.
Yeah.
She said, I want to be researched. I was
She
like,
loves
my God.
sports, this kid. She wants to play football.
down in.
Said, my mom won't let me play. I'm like, there's better games than football for you, Grayson.
She does
I mean,
gymnastics, by the way. She competes for the Chargers, if you will. So I don't
Look
know.
at that. Shout out to Grayson.
Each other.
Absolutely.
By the way, the chat is already asking about when you're in New York City at Times Square, there's no bathrooms. There are no bathrooms.
I
You're
wanted to
not
ask
allowed.
about that.
Once you get in the corral and you are corralled, the police are around, you're not getting out. You have to either wear a diaper or you just got to hold it. That's it.
There's no
bathrooms.
No bathroom.
No.
porta-johns, and
No.
people think that's fun because
Well, if you can hold
Yeah.
it, then you're fine. If you can't,
wear
wear a diaper.
That's tough considering what's taking place for those 3 hours leading up to the ball drop, which is all drinking.
My goodness. Oh my God, look at the chat. I don't want to say it out loud, but look at the chat right now. There's a great
The
comment
diaper?
in there. No, there's something else. I think Maz would appreciate it. You would appreciate it too.
You had to tell me off air.
It's from Steven. I don't want to read it. I'm not going to read it, but it's a funny one, that's for sure.
I take it, Maz figured it out.
Oh, God. Speaking of baseball, Aaron Judge hit 61 last night, guys. Incredible. 61 home runs in Toronto. There's a shot of Aaron Judge in just some of the things that happened last night. Roger Maris Jr. was there. His mom was there. Let me put the statement up from
Guess who didn't bet him last night finally?
You.
No, Jimmy Ballou.
Oh, really?
Jimmy Ballou forgot to bet him.
Roger Maris Jr. on Aaron Judge's potentially number 62. We anticipate he'll get it. He should be revered for being the actual single-season home run champ. That's really who he is if he hits 62. Shot at Mark McGwire, shot at Barry Bonds, shot at Sammy Sosa. Yeah. You'll remember Roger Maris Jr. was at all of those games in 98 as those records were happening. And then Bonds, and now Aaron Judge. But there was a sour feeling in the Maris family, when all the PED stuff came out, Braylon.
Yeah, I think Roger Maris Jr. needs to hush and be quiet. And at the end of the day, the reason why I said it, the Maris name is very synonymous with Roger Maris hitting 61, passing Babe Ruth, and a lot of respect to him. The family holds themselves with class. But at the end of the day, 73 is the record. Regardless of what you want to talk about and what you want to say about Bonds and McGwire and Sosa, you can talk about every era like that. You can go back to his favorite guy, Hank Aaron, and you can talk about what was going on in the Atlanta Braves organization in the 2 years leading up to Hank Aaron breaking the record. The Atlanta Braves whole roster went up in home runs. Everybody went up 4 to 5 home runs. But you can go back even further. You don't know what's going on era to era. We now remember that era because introducing the internet and things been lasting, things staying. Look, the records were the records. Everybody was taking steroids at that era, but these are the only these are only 3 people that got the 60, 70, and 73, or 70 and 73. So the record will always be the record, but it's a great thing that, at least as he also pointed out, Aaron Judge breaks the record for the AL. It's another Yankee. Mm-hmm. It's another guy that's homegrown in the Yankee system. We know him to be clean thus far, but once again, we don't know what clean means in this day and age. So approaching it from that way, it's a good thing, but I think people need to calls from Pauls as it relates to PEDs, steroid clean or not.
Buster Olney was awesome on Get Up this morning.
I saw that. He was amazing.
He was great.
What
and
he
he
say?
calls it.
I missed it.
73 is the record.
No, he didn't say that. He said this is the cleanest record and the best record ever. The best hitting record in all of Major League Baseball. This is a record that, above all, and I can't remember how he compared it to it. I'll get it for you.
He also said that 73 is the record. He said, but if you want to go the clean route, he said, but I believe this to be the cleanest record we've seen. And based on, Aaron Judge not testing for anything, this is a clean record. There's no asterisk behind the record. He said, but Bond's record is Bond's record, because if you go on the MLB record book, it still clearly says 73 home runs, Barry Bonds.
He just says this one is the one that counts.
I go by 73. I think Reggie Bush won the Heisman. The Final Four Michigan basketball teams, I think they all existed. I don't think you can erase history. However, for Roger Maris Jr. to kind of protect your dad and your dad's legacy, I understand where he would come from. Regular fans, we're all going to have opinions.
Yeah.
I would expect him to have his dad's back, essentially, and say, no, my dad had the record because he did it clean. I mean, any son would probably do that. So I don't begrudge him for that. Baseball fans all over the world have their opinion on this record, but again, I've never been one that wants to erase history. Anytime you want to take Reggie Bush's Heisman away, I saw my two eyes. He won the Heisman. You want to take Barry Bonds' record away? I saw my two. He hit those home runs. But I do understand Roger Maris Jr.
Right.
The son of the guy that hit 61, feeling the way he feels
Only
about
compared it to climbing Mount Everest. Sir Edmund Hillary climbed Mount Everest first with nothing. People have done it since with bottled oxygen. He says this is the identical thing to that. The other guys used substances. Aaron Judge used nothing. That's how he compared it. I think that is well said.
I think too with this Judge, and I don't know this for certain, but home runs this year have been very low. This ball seems very dead. It's like a dead ball. How many could he have hit if he played in the 90s? It's a fun conversation to have. I don't know. And again, anytime you try to prop somebody up in an area, you have to knock somebody down. And sports shows exist like ours to create debate. Get Up, First Take, Skip and Shannon, The Herd, all these shows are there because sports fans argue about this stuff. And this is one of those topics that people have such a strong feeling upon. I think it's a crime that Barry Bonds is not in the Hall of Fame. I also think it's a crime that Roger Clemens is not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I understand the comparison to Reggie Bush and Barry Bonds. The only difference is Reggie Bush didn't take performance-enhancing steroids. It was alleged, and I'm glad you brought that up because I had a thought. I was watching I Am Athlete, the Reggie Bush edition, and I had some thoughts on that. Actually, we get to a commercial.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm way over for a commercial.
Exactly. But with that being said, a lot of people were taking Balco, a lot of people were taking andros diastine and creatine, a lot of people were taking steroids at the same time as Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, and Barry Bonds. There's only one individual that had 73 home runs, and that's Barry Bonds, including what he was doing, including being walked almost every time he was up at plate. I don't want to hear it, because if that was the case, then it would have been 73, second place would have been 72, third place would have been 69, et cetera, et cetera. He hit 73, else nobody did.
Way over for a break, and you want to get your take on Reggie Bush. How about we do that next?
Sounds good.
Let's do it. But first, a message from Swiss.
All right. Liquor liability is a real thing as it relates to having tailgates. It doesn't matter if it's high school. It doesn't matter if it's college. It doesn't matter if it's the NFL. You want to be protected. You don't want to fight to break out with all this madness and you're not protected. Now you're getting lawsuits. People are coming at you. You want that good coverage. You want that Jeff Okudah coverage. Well, you know where you go to get that? You go to Swiss Insurance Group and my man Mark. Go to Mark Swiss Insurance Group. Get the coverage you need.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Are you looking to sell, buy, or invest as it relates to the real estate game? Well, you know where you should turn to, or who, for that matter. You should turn to my man, Michael Phillips. Michael Phillips is the best in the game, but don't judge just me. Judge the experience. 23 years he has in this game, 23 successful years, and has made him #1 in the Tri-County area. That's #1, Michael Phillips. Being in the game for 23 years has taught him a lot. If you have real estate needs, call Michael Phillips. I know I sure will. The number for that is 313-403-0011. Once again, that's 313-403-0011. Game on, Michael Phillips.
WoodwardSports.com, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey, Fletch, and JB in the house. Taking you for the next couple of hours here. Talking about the sports thing.
Now, is it JB Joe Burrow? Because I'm noticing you're flip-flopping teams every other day, man. I can't get a beat on who you're really cheering for, so you got to let us in on it. Who are we truly cheering for as JB in the booth?
Well, tonight I am going for JB, Joe Burrow, and the Bengals. Plus, you know, they got that swagger with the iced-out white helmet, so I think I'm going with them tonight.
Okay. And you never bet the under either. Life's too short to bet the under.
It's too short
to bet the under, man.
Is this mic on?
It is.
I think so. Okay. I don't know. Very hollow. But anyway, we're talking about, you know, what happened last night, and, you know, the #1 story on every talk show today was exactly what we're talking about now. Who's the real home run champ? Who do you consider the real guy? You know, why isn't Bonds in the Hall of Fame and Clemens, and somebody mentions Pete Rose now as well? Yeah. I mean, all these things happen.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get into what's the home run, it's 73. There's no way around it. Now, if you want to get into what's the
he cheated.
If you want to get into, let me finish, man. If you want to get into what's the record's 73. As it stands in the MLB book, as it stands for the San Francisco Giants, as it stands for the whole entirety of the MLB, the record is noticed as 73. Now, if you want to say who's the cleanest, who's the person that hasn't had any trouble, hasn't had any run-ins with PED or negative tests, and also, if you want to add this caveat, this is where you're killing. Talking about the best hitting season ever in terms of what he's accomplishing, being the Triple Crown, leading in WAR, leading in OPS, leading. Like, if you want to go through all those numbers, then this might be the best hitting season we ever had, considering the pitching in today's game, considering the analytics that play into decisions coaches make about which pitchers to put out there, etc. That I 1,000% give to Aaron Judge in terms of the best hitting season ever. But in terms of the record is the record. It's 73.
Maz, you're a baseball lover. You wrote, like, I guess one of the words I use with baseball is like it's a romantic sport.
Sure is.
There's no in between with baseball. You either love it, you romanticize about the numbers, or you're just not a baseball guy.
It's the true records. Yeah. Baseball has true records.
Well,
like Babe Ruth, it just rings
numbers.
You
know, baseball is the sport where you know numbers. You don't know how many consecutive games Michael Jordan played or Michael Jordan's points, but you know how many home runs Barry Bonds hit. Right. Yeah. You don't know how many yards Tom Brady has thrown for, but you know exactly how many games Joe DiMaggio hit have a hit streak.
Cal Ripken.
Cal Ripken.
But we also don't know what people were using in those eras. There's no track record of what Babe Ruth was using. There's no track record.
Hot dogs.
There's no.
That's true. Hot dogs and beer.
Everyone
cigarettes.
says that, but pay attention to the facts. Babe Ruth was actually in shape when he was with the Boston Red Sox, and even for a period with the Yankees. He had an interesting body type because he had a big ass head. But Babe Ruth wasn't a fat guy if you go back and look at the numbers. Now, with that being said, you don't know what guys were using for era to era. You hear baseball players talking about what they were using in the 60s and 70s. Hell, Darryl Strawberry was using everything under the sun. They talk about the Quaaludes and they talk about the Focusers. They said they were throwing pitches out there. They looked like freaking beach balls when they were hitting them. It was so easy to hit a home run. So what I'm saying is you don't know what guys were using way back when. You start learning what guys were using on a consistent basis because of the internet. And now things are logged in the internet. Once it's on there, you'll never not see it again. So you can go back as a reference point to 98, Andrews Dialstein, steroids, the trial, Balco with Barry Bonds. You don't know what the hell these guys were using way back then. So to say they were clean, stop it.
Remember Brady Anderson?
Yeah, I know. He had one huge year, two huge years. He looked like Barry Bonds.
Sounds like Roger Maris.
His head grew like 8 sizes. Barry Bonds doubled in his size. I mean, a kid could say, "Is that really the same guy?" So whatever.
You still got to go up there and hit the home run.
Pete Rose's body didn't change, and Mike Schmidt's body didn't change, even if they were popping pills. Darryl Strawberry was still a skinny guy.
Not everybody changed. Not everything is like that.
McGuire changed and Bonds changed. They look like Jose Canseco, Sosa. They look different. It's different. They took it to the extreme.
Listen, cheating is cheating. If you're gonna use something,
they used it.
Just because you want to, just because Barry Bonds wants to spend $1 million to use a safer procedure or use better stuff, etc., that does not excuse the guy like Rafael Palmeiro that used a cheaper substance because he didn't feel like spending $1 million.
Look at Pudge Rodriguez.
He cheated too.
Well, the problem with that whole era, and the reason why I don't have a problem with it is because nobody was stopping it. Baseball.
You think they weren't testing and knew everyone was dirty?
Baseball, after that '94 season, after that '94 World Series that was canceled, baseball needed this.
Yeah.
Baseball encouraged this. So that's why I don't think baseball should come back and say, "Oh no, that was bad," because they had the juiced balls. They had the juiced players.
They haven't said anything. It's everyone else that's saying it.
Well, right, but listen, we're talking about this, and it's good for baseball, right?
Look at the guy that hosts on MLB Network, owned by MLB.
Yeah.
Greg Amsinger, the guy, last night went on a tirade saying this is the record now. This is the record.
And again, I just don't agree with it. I don't begrudge anybody for feeling like that because baseball people are like the Baseball Writers Association of America. I think they are, for the most part, they're like they're high horse people anyway. Like just the epitome of. Collectively, not everybody, but collectively, I think the Baseball Writers Association of America sticks their nose up at everything.
They do.
Including Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, for everything.
Yeah.
That's why I'm fine with people believing that. I just don't. Baseball is just a different game when it comes to all these records and the cleanliness and the romantic, the romance of it. People feel like a certain way about it.
That's because the rules haven't changed over the years. NFL, they changed the rules. NBA, they changed the rules. Hockey, they changed the rules. Baseball is just go out there, roll the ball. Yeah. Sure, they added games, added playoffs. Right. That all does that. But baseball is go out, anyone can play baseball. Yeah. Go out and hit the damn ball.
And again, the reason why I don't have a problem with Bonds and Sosa and McGuire is because they helped. I
loved those years.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is they were as important to baseball as Bird and Magic were to the NBA. At that time, when you put context into it, not only that, remember back to that time, you have no idea if the pitchers that they were facing were also on steroids because you just don't know. There wasn't tests for it. So that's why I just, you know what? It was a period of time in baseball, and I don't think you can erase that period of time.
I say put them all in the Hall of Fame.
That's exactly how I feel about it.
They all belong. They all did what they did. But Pete Rose, He's got to be in too.
I agree. I'm not, but
he's an idiot, but he's got to be in.
I disagree, but I'm not mad at you for thinking that Judge is the guy. It is what it is. Baseball's a different game.
It's a different game, and it's one bread off if we like you or not. Let's say the 3 people that we're naming not being in the Hall of Fame, or 4. If you're talking about nobody like Barry Bonds, nobody like Mark McGwire, nobody like Roger Clemens, nobody like those guys. Nobody like those guys. Everyone loves Aaron Judge. Going back to nobody liking these guys, you guys use that. If they would have had system of tests, because guys tested, guys peed in cups. They knew who was dirty and who wasn't, but they also knew they need to save their sport. That's on them. If guys would have got negative tests and wouldn't be allowed to hit like that and got severe suspensions in the beginning, then you wouldn't have had those situations and we wouldn't be sitting here having those conversations. We wouldn't be sitting here having those conversations, but they let it go. They let guys get away with it to the benefit of the sport. And then once the hammer came down, then they tried to distance themselves from all these guys. They were testing, just like now. We can test for we can test for HGH right now. Remember when LeBron James, what did it used to be? Man, this guy is 6'9", 280. He's running like a defensive end. Yeah, that's how he used to play. But then the NBA, they improved their testing methods, and then they were able to start testing for HGH. Remember that random year with the Miami Heat where LeBron James had the back injuries and he had to sit out the first 3 weeks of the season? He wasn't in Miami. Remember, he came back, he was only about 240. That's because HGH became a real thing and they could start testing for it. But they weren't going to pop LeBron because why? Because they love LeBron.
That's right.
He's good for the game. It's the same thing.
And if you watch that Tim Donaghy on Netflix, if you watch
some people you got to take care of.
Absolutely. You would never bet another game in the NBA if you watch that. I do want to mention, you mentioned Mark McGwire, nobody likes him. Did we get to that on the air? I know we talked about it off the air, but the fan that caught...
Really quick only. I don't think we even got to it.
The fan that caught Mark, he was such a jerk, Mark McGwire.
Ozerski?
Phil Narduzzi.
Yeah, tell the story, Matt. Tell the story.
Yeah, Phil Mazurski, I think his name was. Ozerski. Guy made $30,000 a year. He caught Big Mac's 70th home run. The St. Louis Cardinal PR guys go out and say, okay, can we trade that ball? We'll give you... autographed jersey, a bat, a ball. He's like, I just want to meet Mark McGwire. Okay. So Mark McGwire says, no, I'm not meeting him. No. So Phil says, well, then I don't want to trade it yet. 3 months later, he sold the ball for $3 million. Mark McGwire did not even want to sit and take a picture with this guy. And I remember he was getting hammered back then for really not wanting to deal with the fans. He did not want to be bargaining with the fans, even though they make all that kind of money. And that's a downside for some of these players. Big Mac was one of those.
I want to pay off a tease. I want to get to Braylon's thoughts on Reggie Bush because I did ask you about it, and then I started talking. So I want those thoughts on that. We'll get to the Lions. Chris Solari is going to join us, Free writer. He is the Michigan State beat writer for Freep.com. We'll get to him, top of hour number 2. Lots to get to on a Thursday, but first, a message from SMA.
The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about addiction as well as mental health. Everybody is struggling with something, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, whether it's something that falls under the mental health banner, and you don't know what it is. Everybody wants to be tough. Everybody thinks that they can just work through things themselves. Everybody thinks that, it's okay, I'll get through it. There's no need to get through it. There's no need for your kids to get through it because we have the information. Go to thesportsma.com. Sean Jordan does an amazing job of having the conversations with young athletes, young panelists, young doctors, and such, of having the conversation, things that you need to hear, things you want to talk about. Go to thesportsma.com.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
At Big Frog.
Ribbit, ribbit.
Big Frog.
Yes, get yourself a free Woodward Sports t-shirt. That's right, a free Woodward Sports t-shirt all month long at Big Frog in Novi. Just stop in and tell them we sent you, and they will print you up one right on the spot. So check out Big Frog in Novi today to get your free t-shirt, or check them out online at bigfrog.com/Novi.
WoodwardSports.com. Plenty of great content on there. Check out the Morning Woodward guys. Big D Energy. Our show, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Heavyweights. There's blogs. There's news. There's a shop. We've got a great T-shirt we're in the works for. Can't wait to see it.
T-shirt's coming?
T-shirt's coming. No doubt about it. Braylon, I did ask you about the Reggie Bush because I threw a comparison in there. I cannot stand it when you tell me that I didn't see something that I saw.
Yeah, 100%.
All the Fab Five and the Final Four take down the banner. It didn't happen. Reggie Bush, Terrell Pryor, Ohio State. Like get rid of. No, there's no
OJ's Heisman.
OJ's Heisman.
Joking. That was a joke.
But I mean, again, it happened. He's a murderer allegedly. But
watch that.
He's so dead.
You know, I mean, come on. So Reggie Bush.
So if you watch I Am Athlete is a podcast started by Brandon Marshall, former wide receiver in the NFL, as well as LaShawn McCoy is on it, and Pac-Man Jones. I think Ryan Clark started on there, and he pivoted to his own podcast called
The Pivot.
I had to. But I was
Does
watching.
Shady McCoy give any tipping advice?
Look, Shady McCoy is the funniest dude ever. I watched the podcast just for Shady McCoy. Like Brandon Marshall, whatever. Shady McCoy, he's hilarious. Crazy work, in the words of Shady McCoy. But I was watching this, the last one they did, and it's with Reggie Bush, and it took me back to the scenario. Reggie Bush loses his Heisman. They says he accepted funds and fees and all these type things, and then there was an agent that he wouldn't pay the money back to. They said he was gifted a house. And then I'm listening to Reggie tell the story, and it took me back to the day he found out. So Reggie's telling the story. He said, you know what, nobody ever asked me the full length of the story. Nobody asked me what happened. People made these assumptions that, they said that he was taking money, and everybody assumed because it was L.A., they saw fans on the field, they saw Snoop, they saw Will Ferrell, they saw everybody at these games. It was a high-powered machine. Now, let's not be fools. There was people getting money. There were people getting a lot of money, players included, understand that.
Pete Carroll included?
Oh, man, Pete Carroll was getting it all. He was playing the players, everything. Like, players were getting stuff, but he's telling the story. And he's like, the reason what happened with this situation is his parents got evicted, not because they weren't paying the rent. It's because the owner of the building wasn't paying the mortgage, so they all had to leave. In this process, one of the guys they went to church with, you know, they knew through a family friend, they went to church together. He was in the real estate game. He was flipping houses. Now, he was dirty. He was a shady character as well, but you kicked out of your house. You know, it's a guy that goes to your church. God is good. He shined the light on you. So he let him stay in the house. But they wanted, he wanted some back-end deals, or he wanted some things, and they wouldn't do it. So he kicked him out, and also he told USC, and he told the compliance department, say, hey, this is what's going on with this guy. This guy's taking money. This guy's doing this, that, and the third. They didn't even interview. They interviewed one person. They interviewed Reggie Bush, and they interviewed the running backs coach. And the running backs coach filed a lawsuit because he didn't say any of the things he said. And this lawsuit just settled. You can look it up. Running back coach T-Mac. It just settled literally 5 years ago. They settled that case. They didn't do any research, and I know that to be a fact. Compliance did the same thing with me. Compliance did a similar thing with me. So going through this story, you see the conviction in Reggie's voice. Like, you can start to see that it's not true. He's like, yeah, guys were taking money. He said, I didn't take any money. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I trust him. I didn't take any money. He said, there were guys around me taking any money. He said, but this is the story. What they took my trophy away for was this story that this house was given to me by an agent, and that's completely false. What they took my Heisman, know how he worded it. He said, what they took my Heisman for was completely false. The reason why I bring it up, and I say I know this to be true, Maz, I got bought out to the NFL in 2006 by NFL Network. to interview some players during the draft process and kind of hang out and do some parties.
They knew you were a ham right back then.
They did. I was there the year before, and they never said, "Oh yeah, we gotta have this guy. He's a goofball." So I came out there and I brought Mike Hart with me. I said, "Yo,
you
Mike."
brought little brother?
I brought little brother. Cause I see what you did there. I brought little brother because I wanted to put him in this light. I wanted Mike to see what it's like to be drafted and hang out because I wanted him to be motivated. So we go out there, and I was with Reggie the day he found out that the NCAA, the Heisman trustees were going to, like ban him from the Heisman or say that he didn't win it or take his name off, etc. So he was miserable all day. I was doing a lot of media events. He was miserable all day. We get to the club, we're partying. Me and Mike are having a damn good time. We're getting it in. And I just see Reggie's you could just feel it on him. Like he's at the booth doing this. It's supposed to be the happiest, the next morning, it's supposed to be the happiest moment of his life. And he was just miserable. I said, Reggie, let's go outside. And we go outside of the club, Maz, and we talk. And Reggie says, I'm like, what's going on? He breaks down crying. And I said, Reggie, you gonna be all right? Look, man, God got you. It'll be cool. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out a way to get through it. And then he immediately came out of crying. He said, but it's not about that. I didn't do what they're talking about. His conviction and passion for knowing that he wasn't in the wrong, knowing that they robbed him nationally of something that was his and that they took it for a wrong reason and there was lawsuits out. He was crying because he did not do that, what they say he took it from. And I was there, so when I was watching I Am Athlete, I had this nostalgic moment of being outside. It was called Mansion, Club Mansion, being outside Mansion. Reggie crying. I got a suit on and had literally drips on my suit from him crying and being mad. That's why I know that everything the NCAA has going on, all this NIL, the Wild Wild West, people are upset with how it got. You know what? Thank the NCAA because it's all their freaking fault. They wanted to find somebody. They wanted to point to somebody in the room and say, yeah, this team is dirty. We did a little bit of homework. You got the wrong guy and it's going to show. Guess what? NCAA has no more power over the NCAA, and it stems from situations like Reggie Bush. It's their fault.
I want to ask you when we come back from the break, why he didn't go on national TV. That would have been one hell of a story had he denied that. And we'll do it when we come back right here. Ermanni, Edwards, and me, Maz, right on Woodward Sports Network.
But first, a message from the Folding Warehouse.
That's me again.
That is you.
How about that? Get down to Hamtramck. A couple ways to play this great game of football and bowling. $12 unlimited open play and a private lane reservation for 10 or 12 of your closest friends. Run you $120, but you get it for 2 hours all by your lonesome. How about that? Any drink you want as well, because they have multiple full bars, and any beer you want, because I don't know if they could have more than this. They have over 100 beers to offer you. Plus the $2 mystery beer machine. Bring your own food in, have it delivered.
I tried that mystery machine out.
Stretch it out. You had the Colt 45 on that. Maybe a Rheingold or a Schaefer beer will pop out of that.
Foster's.
A Stroh's. How about that? Check it out at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries. What will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Hey, In case you didn't know, Planet Fitness is the official studio sponsor of Woodward Sports. It's also home to the Judgment Free Zone, where you can work out for just $10 a month.
$10?
Yes, $10 a month. Or do yourself a favor, upgrade to the Black Card, and you got unlimited guest privileges, the hydro massage, and so much more. Join in club today or check out planetfitness.com.
All right, enough of these stories back down memory lane, whether it was Reggie Bush or last night Aaron Judge hitting 61. Braylon Edwards here on Ermanni Edwards with Maz. Maz, my guy, is over there. Hey, let's bring it back to the Detroit Lions. I think they're a team that, still plays here. I think they're a team that still has a lot to prove this year. But one thing that's been struggling, ladies and gentlemen, for the Detroit Lions has been the defense, especially in the second half. You look at the points they gave up against the Washington Commanders. You look at the points that they gave up to the Vikings this past week in the fourth quarter alone, and even against the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, Dan Campbell had something to say about that. Fletcher, you got that for me?
Yeah, real confident. I mean, last week, the thing that was a little tough is we weren't as disruptive as we've been on first and second down. But I do think that we can do those things. We hit a stumbling block last week, but I think that's the way we have to play. If we can't get them behind the sticks on first or second down, it could be hard on us just with where we're at. But I think our defense is going to bounce back this week.
Maz, what do you think about that? Dan Campbell saying the defense will bounce back, because we've seen some good defense at times, but when it counts, it just hasn't been there, Maz.
It's a killer when Tracy Walker went down. That's the captain of that secondary. He's the quarterback of that secondary, and people aren't even talking about him. I mean, you lose him, that is a huge loss, especially when you weren't really that great in the secondary. You have a healing up Jeff Okudah coming back and having a really good season so far for a guy that had the injuries that he's had. But he needs help. Oruwariye yesterday, Oruwariye last week. What did he have? 6 penalties called against him.
Count them. 6.
And you know what? They're going to continue to go after him. And they need help, man. It sucks. They don't have the depth that a really good team. Now that Chase Lucas kid, who really showed on Hard Knocks. Once pup list is over next week, you might start getting some help. But right now, that's a team that these injuries are really going to be hard to take for this team because they don't have the depth that you really need. And I hope that Aiden Hutchinson is going to be a little healthier than he was last week because he was almost invisible last week.
Yeah, you're looking at Juju Hughes to back up, or to step in this week for Tracy Walker. Mass, how much of this, though, did we kind of talk about in the offseason? We talked about them not providing them with vets on defense, them not providing Pro Bowl potential, star power players on that defense. They worried a lot about the offense, and rightfully so. You got to score points in this league. But they don't have the recognition as it relates to the secondary of a player that you can look at. Oh, obviously, Jeff Okudah's balling, but we didn't know that coming into the season.
Right.
They don't have that veteran guy that can be in a situation where you're up 14 or you're up 10 and you're trying to ice a game, make the right calls, keep people's mentals correct. They don't have those backers that have played 5, 6, 7 years, like Reuben. We talked Reuben Foster. We said go after him. Now guess what Reuben Foster's doing? He's only leading the league in tackles right now. He's only leading linebackers in sacks right now. So Ryan Ermanni, I ask you, as Dan Campbell is saying, we got to step up and got to make plays, and we'll get to that clip. How much of this is they did not bring in veterans in the offseason that can play those positions, that can help them learn how to close games out?
Maybe they didn't think they could win.
Oh, wow.
And maybe this was a much bigger thing than one season, because I don't want to throw seasons away. Okay, I don't think you throw seasons away in the NFL. And I don't want to say that they looked at this thing and said, you know what, we're building something here. But the coach does have a 6-year deal.
Yep.
The general manager has a 5-year deal. So unless there's something absolutely catastrophic, they are going to get to do this thing their own way. And I will say, if they looked at the schedule and they looked at the potential that this football team had this season and said, you know what, not only can we win 6, 7, or 8 games, I think we can make the playoffs and win a playoff game. And if they said that, I think they might have gone about the defense free agency much more aggressively.
That's a very valid point, and we talked about it, or I talked about it the other day. is when Dan Campbell got to that podium, the first press conference he said, what did he tell us? What did he tell the fans of Detroit? What did he tell the city? And what did he tell the league? And inadvertently, his players as well. He told them that this would be a 3-year process. Now, he's on a 6-year deal, but he told them it would be a 3-year process. And I believe what you see in the offseason this year, Ryan, you're correct. They approached it like that. They didn't go after Bobby Wagner and how much it would cost a guy like that was in year 11. They didn't go after Von Miller. They didn't go after Tyrann Mathieu and Von Miller and Landon Collins. They didn't go after these guys that really good talent, really good players. Even when Reuben Foster came up, at the beginning of training camp, you talk about this is a linebacker. This is the type guy you need.
Was he the 49er at one point?
Yes.
Yeah.
They didn't go after him. You know what they did? They said, nah, you know what we'll do? We'll just build through the draft. We'll build with our young players that we had last year. We will give Tracy Walker an extension. We believe in him. We'll draft Malcolm Rodriguez in the distance round. We will focus on the draft for defense in 2023. But we will know in 2022 we'll be competitive. We'll be able to fight. That's how I see it, man. I feel like they wanted to be in every game. They wanted to fight, but they really want to build the team through the draft.
That's why last week's loss to the Vikings was an absolute killer. Not only was it a buzzkill for the fans, but it derailed this team really poorly, because now they're going to have to fight for their lives this week against Seattle. Yeah, they're a better team than Seattle on paper. But you know what? Half the team is out. The offense, we gave you 7 guys yesterday that didn't practice, and we'll have that list for you. Some of them came back today.
Yeah.
But you know what, man? Remember Paper Lion, remember that?
Yeah.
With George Plimpton?
Yep.
These are paper lions because they are paper thin. They do not have the depth.
Again, though, most NFL teams are dealing with this, and I don't
not
use that
this
word
much.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
the Chargers, maybe.
They got guys banged up. Many NFL teams. There's plenty of NFL teams that say, Dan Campbell talking about in this league, whether you were drafted or undrafted, you got to be ready when your number's called. Here's Dan Campbell.
Yeah, real confident. I mean, for the most part, Swift was he didn't get a lot of work last week. He got a little bit, but obviously he was a little banged up. So we leaned on Jamal, and he did a hell of a job. And Craig will take a little bit more, and so will Jackson. So it'll be by committee, and we're confident, very confident.
Well, you better be confident, because these are the guys you're rolling with.
Yeah.
And these are the guys that, we said the Lions are better. The Lions are better. Their depth is better. Well, show us now. The Dallas freaking Cowboys. I keep going back to this point, okay? Amari Cooper is gone. Michael Gallup is out. CeeDee Lamb is one wide receiver. Oh, and Dak Prescott is out.
And guess what?
You just won 2 freaking games.
And they look better.
So I'm telling you, teams go through this each and every week, each and every year in the National Football League, and now it's the Lions' turn.
Let me give you a team to compare them with here in Detroit. The Detroit Tigers. What happened to them at the beginning of this year?
Injury.
The same thing. I think they had, 7, 8 guys that were out by injury, and now it's gone across the street to Ford Field and infected the Lions. I've never really seen this many guys go out this quick. Good players that you need on the field going down. The only thing that you got going for you is your quarterback is still healthy.
If I will say this about the Detroit Lions, I'm going to say 2 things. Thing one, for the Detroit Lions, if you're a fan or you're an analyst or you're a pundit, whatever you want to call yourself, and you're ahead of the process that Dan Campbell set up, if you're ahead of the process that the Detroit Lions are on, the type of pace like that they're on, if the Detroit Lions, if mentally they were on the pace that, we'll probably win 7, 8 games this year, but next year we know we'll be able to fight for 10, 11, then that's on you. That's not Dan Campbell's fault. That's not their fault. Like, if that's where you were, where you got they should win 10 games, and you know what? That's your fault for thinking they will win 10 games. But if you're smart, if you're smart-minded, and you're like, you know what? I understand that this is where I had them, but this is where Dan Campbell told me we could be. Let me take a step back and let me assess where these guys are. Let me assess the players. Let me assess what they've done. Well, they're about a lot better than where people thought they would be, like not going into that. Now, the last thing I wanted to say about the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell, and in terms of this, in terms of injuries, okay, no excuses. Okay, no excuses. It doesn't matter what a team is projected to do. It's the next man up. We've seen that time and time and time again. Look at Skipper. You got to be ready when your number is called. This is the National Football League. This is professional. People get paid. Everybody in that building is collecting a check for some reason or another. When your number gets called, you know how many people don't make the NFL? Mm-hmm. Do you know how many people get sent home every year? How many people get sent home during training camp? Because they couldn't make it. You made it. So that means you got to be ready when your number's called.
Not so much in your first few years in Cleveland, but when you were with the Jets, when you were with the 49ers, when you were with the Seahawks, when you were with good teams, good organizations, I want to ask you, when there was an injury and there was a backup that lined up next to you, what was your expectation for that backup? I want you to give me that answer next, and you'll hear from Jared Goff as well. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. It is no secret that new cars are hard to come by, but they are available at Les Stanford. Got to make a plan, though. Allocation coming in for lease or purchase of new vehicles. Les Stanford has also over 300 pre-owned cars on their lot, all makes, all models, all years, some with less than 500 miles. So they're like new. Yeah. Come on down today, practically giving them away. Les Stanford Chevrolet. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new road.
Find them.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader Bet Tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment's got everything you need to get the job done if you have a big project. Well, coming up, Alta Rental has got you covered. Call them today at 844-GO, the number 2, Alta. That's 844-GO-2-ALTA.
Woodward Sports Network, just talking about all the different Lions injuries. You're going to hear from Jared Goff coming up. You know, Antoine Randall L., wide receivers, banged up. Amon-Ra, St. Brown, DJ Chark out again today.
The two best players on offense are going to be out.
We do not, well, three really, to be honest with you. I mean, Swift is out, Chark is out, Amon-Ra is out.
Yeah.
And I do think Chark is a guy that you wanted to go to if Amon-Ra isn't there.
Reynolds.
So now you're left with Josh Reynolds. Anybody see Quintez Cephas, by the way?
Reynolds was hurt last week, so he's not 100%.
So who are your receivers this week?
Quintez Cephas, Khalif Raymond, and Josh Reynolds.
Somebody's got to step up.
It's got to be Hawk
I mean,
time.
Can this guy step up for a minute?
Let's go.
Seriously, TJ Hawkins. And Braylon, I asked you a question before the break.
Yep.
You know, what was your expectation when you were a member of the Jets specifically? Good team, AFC Championship game. When a backup lined up next to you guys, what was your expectation for them?
When the back, in terms of on my same team?
That they do their friggin' job, right?
Oh, in terms of on the same team playing against?
Same team.
Oh, man, you got to do your job. Like, it doesn't matter if you're on a bad team. You got to do your job, especially those. Like, I wrote down some names. 2010, 2009 and 10, we went to the AFC Championship back-to-back. We lost both games, but we went. In those 2 years, we lost Jericho Cotchery for a time. Jericho Cotchery was our most consistent receiver. We had to add Brad Smith, the go-go gadget quarterback from Missouri. Damian Woody, who this town knows well, right tackle, Detroit Lions, won Super Bowls with the New England Patriots. He was also the right tackle for the New York Jets. Insert Wayne Hunter. Thomas Jones gets insert. Insert Sean Jones. And Cromartie got hurt in 2010. Insert Drew Coleman, DB out of TCU. Your next man has to step up. That's why you draft players. That's why you pick guys up in free agent. That's why guys make the team through training camp because you believe in that player, they fit your identity, and they work to the level that you can be comfortable with, and you know that you can count on those guys. Guys got to step up, and we're not asking you to step up against the Buffalo Bills or the Baltimore Ravens. We're asking you to step up against the Seattle Seahawks at home. Come on, I need Detroit to stand up.
Speaking of the Seattle Seahawks, one guy who is not a fan, I took this to be a dig. Maz, you did not. Curious, Braylon, what you think. DK Metcalf.
We have the sound.
Oh, God, we could have had DK Metcalf, too.
I got the sound.
Oh, you have the sound.
How many guys we could have had?
Look at this. There's the quote. Here's the sound. DK Metcalf on Jeff Okudah.
Jeff Okudah's locked down 3 really good receivers the past 3 weeks. What have you seen from him on film going into this matchup?
There's a safety over the top of him, so he's really not locking people down, but he's a good corner.
So just if you weren't able to hear that, the question was from the reporter, Jeff Okudah has locked down 3 pretty good receivers. What is your plan against him? And he says he's got safety help over the top. He's not locking anybody down.
What I would take that is 3 things I would take from that. Thing 1, he's watched the footage, which means he's watched the tape, which means he's like, hey, I heard some good things about Jeff Okudah. Let me turn the tape on. Let me see what I'm going against, which means he's watching. He's watching film. So he's watching film on you. Jeff Okudah. Thing 2, it's DK Metcalf, man. This dude's built like Von Miller and runs like Jameson Williams. So he's not worried about any of these guys. Thing 3, if I'm Jeff Okudah, I'm excited because just 6 months ago, they said you were a bust, a has-been, and even more important, a never was. They said we wasted a draft pick on you. He shouldn't be a guy. We blew this pick. Now you got guys like DK Metcalf watching film on you as they're coming into the game. Jeff Okudah, this is another big game for you. But this is the first time it's a national big game for you because this is the first time somebody has mentioned your name and called you out. This is the first time somebody of note has said something like, hey, you know what, they got safety over top. So basically he's saying you only locked those guys down because you had safety over top. I would take that personal, just like Michael Jordan said in The Last Dance, and I took it personal. I would take it personal, and I would go out there and do everything in my power. And it's not going to be hard because DK Metcalf, with this new system with Geno Smith, Game 1, 7 catches, 36 yards. Game 2, 4 catches, 35 yards. And Game 3, 5 catches, 64 yards and a touchdown. They can't get anything going on that offense. So this is a good game with an easy game plan.
You know who I want to see this week, and I probably won't.
K9?
It's time for Tom Kennedy. Come on down.
I don't know
Tom
if you're going to see
Kennedy.
that.
Come on, man.
I don't know if you're going to see that.
I want to see Tom Kennedy in this game. I do. Put Tom Kennedy in that lineup this week. Come on, Coach.
You want to see Tom Kennedy?
I do.
I don't know if you're going to see him, but Antoine Randall knows his receivers are banged up. Here's his take on the Lions receivers.
The guys that would step in, I'd feel comfortable with. I've had a lot of reps with all those guys, and last year, as brutal as it was, there was a lot of valuable reps with a lot of those guys that would potentially need to step in.
All right, that was obviously the wrong cut there.
But the
we'll
same
get to
message,
the right
though.
ones. Yeah,
Stepping in. Same message from Jared Goff that you heard.
So, again, I don't think injuries are an excuse anymore in the National Football League, especially when you are not the only team dealing with them.
I know, but it's your best players.
I understand.
Minus Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
It's your 2 most important pieces on offense. And they're out.
You know who's not out?
The offensive line is out.
Hutchinson.
Bro,
you know who's not out?
You have to score still.
Malcolm Rodriguez.
Yes, you still have to score.
Jeff Okudah.
Okay.
Amani Oruwariye.
All right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Bet the under. Bet the under.
Life's too short to bet the under. At the end of the day, I understand what you're saying, Madison. You're right. You got your best guys out. You're not going to play your best ball game when your best guys out. You don't draft certain individuals for them not to be there. You don't pay certain individuals for them not to be there. So there's a lot of truth to what you're saying. I think more along the lines, I'm in the middle of you guys because I understand it. I also understand what Ryan Ermanni is saying. You're playing against the Seattle Seahawks. The best thing you got going for you is the fact that your number one strength is still your number one strength, and that's the running game. I mean, that's the offensive line. The offensive line has given, it doesn't matter who's been in, they've given Jared Goff time to throw the ball, time to think, time to be comfortable. They've even opened up lanes for running backs, whether it was Jamal Williams or whether it was DeAndre Swift. So with that being said, that's your strength. They're still good. So be good with that. Let Jared do it. And maybe this is, you know what? Maybe this is a chance for Jared Goff to step away from the
There
pack.
you go.
Maybe this is a time for, we keep asking this question, is Jared Goff the guy for the future? Is Jared Goff just the Band-Aid for the next 3 years? Well, you know what? This is a perfect opportunity for Jared Goff to take that next step. You scored 35 week 1. You should have won. I mean, you did win week 2. You put up some more numbers, 4 touchdowns. Then you should have won a game last game. You know what, Jared? Step up. Like, this is your opportunity to show us that, hey, you know what?
Hey, man,
maybe
dude.
we stop asking these questions about Jared. Maybe Jared shows us something so we can just say, all right, cool. Got a quarterback. Let's focus elsewhere.
The Lions did grade out well, like you said, on the O-line. Penei Sewell ranked the #1 right tackle from Full Football Focus. And Jamal Williams ranked the #1 running back in Pro Football Focus. Put those up there.
How does the Jamal Williams happen?
Because he's slamming it in he's getting the opportunities and making the most out of
The
it.
only thing about Josh Williams,
Jamal
Williams. The
Williams.
only thing about Jamal Williams that I think of is the first down that he didn't get.
Right. Well, he didn't get the first down.
Yeah, he didn't punch it outside, which he should have.
Yeah.
But he danced to the end zone.
He danced to the end zone. He's scoring in the end zone. You do realize he has 3 rushing touchdowns this season. Like, he's tied for second, I believe, I think he's tied for first in terms of rushing touchdowns. Whenever they give him the ball, he's creating yards. I think he's averaging somewhere around 5.2 yards a carry. He's averaging good, and he's playing well when he's in there. Those stats are based off success. When you catch a pass, your percentage goes up. When you get positive yards, your percentage goes up. When you average a certain amount, your percentage goes up. So that's why he's #1. But Penei Sewell, we got to sit here and talk about it. For as much as we talk about Micah Parsons, and you should, Maz, he is. Micah Parsons is the best defensive player in the NFL currently today, this season. Notice I said this season. But Penei Sewell, man, for a guy that's 3 years in college, didn't play one of them, set out that year, came back last year, switched positions, and now he's grading out like this. Penei Sewell is going to be something special at that right tackle for years to come, man. Mark my words.
We're going to take a break. Couple of things coming. Hour number 2, we'll have Chris Solari, Michigan State beat writer, Freak.com. Also, Top 10 Thursday. I was going to sound the horn, but I'm not, because that's only for
breaking news and
hot
takes.
Braylon's Top 10 Thursdays, Chris Solari, all coming.
Don't sound so excited.
Hour number 2. But first, I'm very excited. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience. It is your last month to register to win the car of your dreams from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. No appointment necessary. It's wicked awesome. Wicked awesome.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risk, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag out. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
OddsTrader.com. It's an online site for your game day bets, play-by-play updates, live scores, and the best price from every sport book, multiple sports book. That's what you listen to. Everything I just heard was the best. And guess what? If you're a rookie just getting your first bets in, placing your first bets, your first parlay, same in-game parlay, you don't know what you're doing, well, go to OddsTrader.com, because simply put, they give you data tracking information. They give you the bets you should make. They give you a little bit about each team, a little bit about each player, a little bit about the backstory there. To me, that's cheating. And guess what? You know where you can cheat and get money? OddsTrader.com.
All right, we are going to take a stab at some college football talk now. We have talked about Michigan State seemingly more than we have about Michigan this week. I think most of us are just surprised at the way in which Michigan State is losing games. I am. Braylon, I know you are a little bit. Chris Solari, what?
No.
You're not surprised.
Well, I mean, I said they were going to lose 5 games.
Yeah, lose, but not get blown out. And,
no, to your point, yes.
Just the way
I didn't expect last
the
week.
way they're losing. Chris Solari is the Michigan State beat writer for Freak.com. Spend $1. Check out the free, great content on that website. Chris, thanks so much for the time, my friend.
Glad I could join you guys today. I hope you're doing well.
Absolutely,
Chris,
we
what's up,
are.
buddy?
Chris, break this down for us. What is going wrong currently with the Michigan State Spartans?
That's a tough, loaded question because I'm not really sure where you'd start. I mean, you know, to what Braylon said, you know, it shouldn't be a surprise the issues that Michigan State's having because these are the things that were a problem coming into the year. You didn't know where the pass defense would be after last season, and that's been suspect. And now the run defense, you have to question that with the injuries that they've had with Jacob Slade and now Simeon Barrow and Chris Bogle and Jeff Petrowski. I mean, that's the top of their depth chart, getting really hit. And then on the other side of the ball, you know, the question to me was never about replacing Kenneth Walker. It was always going to be, how would the offensive line be? Simply because they lost 4 guys with veteran experience from a year ago. And so much of what Walker did even a year ago with those experienced guys in front of him was after contact. So that's been kind of a struggle here the past 2 games. I think they have 80 total rushing yards the past 2 games, and only 66 of them from the running backs. And that's a trickle-down effect there because then you get Peyton Thorne out of rhythm trying to do more than he can maybe sometimes do or should try and sometimes do, maybe forcing some throws, locking on receivers, getting picked off, fumbling the ball in the red zone last week. So it's myriad of issues that really are going into this. And that's going along with the rough starts that they've had on both sides where the offense has gone 3 and out in 3 of the 4 games for the first 2 drives. And the last 2 games, this is, to me, like the stat of the past couple weeks. The defense has been on the field for 23 minutes and 40 seconds of the 30 minutes in the 2 first quarters. You're not going to win many football games putting your defense in that position.
You know, I would take a step back, Chris, and just disagree with the side about the offensive line. Last year, the offensive line wasn't good. Kenneth Walker was making a lot of runs after the point of attack. That whole Michigan game, those were cutback lanes in which he was breaking them off for 90 and 70 and 60. And credit to him, because if he doesn't have one of the most amazing games I think I've ever watched in my eyes, then obviously they lose that game. But I knew the offensive line was going to struggle because those guys were vets, and now those guys are young. So I wasn't worried about that so much as the secondary. Like how do I put this? How worried are you about that secondary considering Mel Tucker is what type of coach? When I was in Cleveland, Mel Tucker was a secondary coach. Last year, they were the worst in the secondary in terms of stats. You know how hard it is to be the worst in college football. I thought they would improve that. Is that surprising to you most of all?
Yes and no. Simply because I think when you lost Xavier Henderson for however long it's going to be, that took away the guy in the back end who really coordinated a lot. So you go from having Xavier Henderson to having Kendall Brooks, who's played fairly well, but he's still a guy who was a Division II transfer. And then you have Justin White taking over at the nickel back over Chester Kimbrough, who had struggles all last year on the edge at cornerback. You move him into the nickel thinking that maybe that will change things. Well, he got picked on from the get-go and got benched in the second half of the Washington game. You replace him with another Division II transfer in Justin White. So just those 2 guys right there, and that's not knocking what they've done in their play, but you can't win Power 5 football games with Division II transfers.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, you've got 2 guys in Amir Speed and Ronald Williams who are transfers from Georgia and Alabama, but they weren't playing much in Georgia and Alabama. You've got, so basically the only guy back there, the 2 guys that are back there that are Michigan State recruits, one is Angelo Gross, who was a Mark D'Antonio recruit. I'm pretty sure he's hurt because you watch him and he had, particularly the over-the-top touchdown at Washington, he was so far behind on that and kind of struggling to catch up that it wasn't normal. And then the other guy is Chuck Brantley, who's a second-year sophomore, coming off of a shoulder injury a year ago. So in a way, it doesn't surprise me that they're the issues, particularly when you started losing Henderson. And then on top of that, you lose Darius Snow, who I thought going into the season was going to be the most important piece in that defense, being a safety nickelback hybrid, moving into that middle of the 4-2-5 to help fix some of those coverage issues with the linebackers, on crossing routes and depth stuff that they were having trouble with. That is, again, a problem now with Halladay and Van Summer.
Yeah, injury is definitely a problem, kind of similar to what's going on down at Allen Park right now with the Detroit Lions. But bringing it back to two players, you're talking about players, but two you didn't mention. One is a good mention, the other one, not so much. Talk about how good Jacoby Windman can be, transfer, playing amazing ball right now, but then also talk about Peyton Thorne not taking that next step, at least it doesn't seem like from the outside looking in.
Yeah, Windman's been, he had those 2 good first games, and he's been washed out here or there. The size factor. I mean, they brought him in to be a linebacker and had a needed defensive end and put him there. And, I think he's coming along, and I think he's shown the ability to be a guy that can be disruptive, particularly with his hands in dislodging balls. He's a hard hitter, and he's got a knack for that. And he's shown pass rush. So, but you can't be a one-man pass rush. At some point, that tape shows up for the teams down the line of what you're doing, how you're doing it. Washington, put him on the edge, and, he tried to make a couple of those double duck and under ghost moves and got folded and shoved down the field. So I do think that, especially right now without Petrowski, and now Chris Bogle now maybe being out, that's now you got one guy, one defensive end that you're counting on, and then other guys that were deeper down the depth charts. You got to get them up to speed, or else, teams are just going to double win them all day. As far as Thorne, I think I said that earlier. You watch him and he's trying to maybe do a little more than he can and should. But they ran a flea flicker in the Akron game, which, again, that works if you got Ken Walker, right? Because teams are loading the box, putting 8 guys with eyes on them. They don't have the running backs to do that now. So then, he gets hit on that throw in the Akron game and throws an interception. And there have been a couple other throws where you've seen him just lock on guys or, try and force a throw where it's just not there to try and move the ball downfield. It's a little bit concerning because he does have weapons on the outside, but again, if they're not able to keep him, not necessarily upright, but he's constantly being flushed from the pocket and knocked off his spot, that's causing some of it. But, it also comes down to better decision-making more as well, especially for a second-year starter.
Chris Solari joins us, Free Press, Michigan State beat, also votes on the Heisman and the Naismith Award. So we'll have to talk to you about that one of these days too, Chris. But I wanted to ask you about this actual team. Is this Mark D'Antonio's fault? Did he leave the cupboard bare? Or, I don't know. That's the first question. And then Mel Tucker, what's he got coming in, and how quick can this turn around?
Yeah, there's something to be said about the last few classes that D'Antonio recruited. A number of those guys are gone. The 2019 and 2020 recruiting classes that were D'Antonio's last 2, a lot of those guys left the program. Whether it be playing time issues, whether it be the normal attrition when you have a new coach. There are a number of guys that are gone from the program. So the guys that are left, there's all of a sudden in those classes not very much depth. And the same could be said with the 21 class that Tucker brought in. They're that Zoom baby class that he recruited after he got hired, sight unseen with some of those kids. A lot of those guys are gone from his first recruiting class. So, when you have that much attrition in those 3 classes, there's not much. That chips your depth away. That chips your depth dramatically. And, you've seen that, and now as they're trying with injuries to replace some of these guys, it's going to have to turn to the guys that Tucker brought in that are freshmen, redshirt freshmen and sophomores. And those guys take time, particularly up front. They used 6 offensive linemen last week against Minnesota. And, I think the only guy that's a young underclassman is Spencer Brown. The rest of those guys were either transfers like Brian Green or Jared Horst, or guys that were absorbed into the program with Matt Carrick and Nick Samac and J.D. Duplain. That's pretty significant, and Tucker's recruiting now. The 23 class, again, assuming they keep it together, because I think if this does spiral, then you start to worry about it. But I don't think at this point you see any issues that any or all of these guys are going to suddenly make different decisions. But this 23 class is the one that really has kind of generated some buzz. But that's going to take time for those guys to come in. They're not going to come in and be day one starters. You need that 22 and 21 class to really kind of step it up. Because I think the other thing with the portal, you're starting to see that there aren't a lot of Kenneth Walkers out there, right? I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer thing to say, but these guys aren't in that. If a guy like Amir Speed or Ronald Williams was contributing at Alabama for those national championships in a significant manner, they wouldn't transfer out because they would be able to play for another national title.
Chris, it's funny you say that, there's not a Kenneth Walker in every transfer portal. Is that, almost what he did, almost unfair to a guy like, Jalen Berger, because you just expect that to be the case, right? He's going to come in and be Kenneth Walker 2.0.
Yeah, and to what Braylon was saying, and kind of what you were mentioning about my Heisman vote. I mean, there's a reason that I had Kenneth Walker winning my Heisman vote last year. It's because I saw that offensive line that he was running behind. I mean, you don't have 1,100 yards after contact if you aren't a special running back, right? But it also speaks to how pedestrian maybe that offensive line was, and then you lost the top depth of it. But it is unfair. That is really unfair to a guy like Berger and Broussard who transfer in and now have to run behind a reconfigured group that, a couple of those guys, Duplain and Samac and Carrick had some pretty extensive playing time, but they weren't, Duplain was really the only guy last year who was a steady start. So you basically are replacing 4 different guys up front. So sometimes that takes a little bit to mesh. I mean, a lot of times it does because, when you're revolving and moving pieces in and out of your program and not having that continuity of, day one freshman year to year 4, year 5 as a senior, and they haven't even gotten to year 5 of Tucker and Chris Kapilovic. I mean, that puts a running back in a bind. And, you have to be able to, I don't want to say you have to be Kenneth Walker because I don't necessarily know if you need to, but you need those holes, you need that push up front. And that right there puts them in an unfair disadvantage because those cutback skills that Braylon mentioned are special and unique, and vision that Walker had can't be replaced.
Hey, Chris, last thing, and I'm up against it, so maybe unfair to ask you now with about a minute to go. But Michigan State's already lost 2 in a row. Then at Maryland, Ohio State, Wisconsin, at Michigan. Brett Bielema's got Illinois friggin' playing pretty decent football. I mean, what do you make of the prospects of the next 4 weeks, but maybe even the next 5 weeks for Michigan State? How ugly could this potentially get?
I'll say this is maybe the most important game on Michigan State's schedule. And not just because it's the next one, it's because of what comes after that. I mean, if you're able to kind of cut it a little bit and get yourself to 3 wins, now you've got a little bit of positivity and optimism. Ohio State, everybody knows what Ohio State did in 30 minutes of football last year to Michigan State. And you kind of cringe thinking that, this group is, just as deficient in that passing defense to go against Stroud again. Records could be broken. But then you also got the Wisconsin game, the Michigan game. I mean, but if you don't get the Maryland game, that's where I think you start to get a little bit concerned. I think if you can get to the 3 wins this week, and it's no guarantee and there's also no guarantee that Tua's brother, Talia Tagovailoa, is going to play, with the knee injury and depending on the weather, but if he does, he threw for 350 on you last year. So, and they're at home. So it's so cliche, and I hate the cliche of it being a 1-game season. But right now, for Michigan State, with what's ahead, this is you got to have it. This is as must-win a game as there is.
Chris Solari, we certainly appreciate your time, my friend. Thanks for doing this. Hope to talk to you again down the road.
Thanks, Chris. All right, gents. See ya. Take care.
You got it. Chris Solari. Check him out in the Freep on Freep.com, Michigan State beat reporter.
I know what I wanted to tell him. I hope he's still watching, Chris. So my godfather never really listened to rock growing up, not me.
Wow. Oh, man, I was going to,
Yeah, that's where I was going. So
How did we not?
How did we not?
How did we not ask about Led Zeppelin?
Growing up, man, my mom had me listening to Marvin Gaye, Isley Brothers, Al Green, the same, hearing that's what I listened to. But my godfather was always the eclectic type. First rock song I ever heard, I walked in his house at 12 years old, and I heard Stairway to Heaven. I said, I don't know what this is, but I like this type of music. And I saw Led Zeppelin in the back, and I just had to say something.
Yeah, the Woodward Sports Chat was all over it, too.
Oh, my gosh.
They were digging on Zeppelin.
I don't know why we're
I couldn't cut them off.
I feel like we let the chat down. We're sorry, chat.
Sorry, chat. Woodwardsports.com, Woodward Sports Chat. We'll do an off the cuff maybe with Chris Solari and Led Zeppelin.
That off the cuff. All right.
I'm ready. But you know what we're gonna do next?
Is Top
10 Thursday. Can't wait for that. Let's do it. But first, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
They're definitely a top 10 tanning place. They're number one in our hearts as well. 27 locations and more on the way right here on Woodward Avenue. There's 2 of them close to our Birmingham studios. And if you join the Pepper Club today, they're going to save you $5 against any competitor on unlimited tanning. Plus, you get the cleanest salons in the D, the Chili Pepper Girls, and a whole lot more. The hottest deals and the darkest tans. How about it? It's your vitamin D headquarters. It's chilipepperstanning.com.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Hey, everybody, make sure you join Woodward Sports at the Brass Rail for all Lions home games. That means this week against the Seahawks, pregame check-ins from the Cuervo Zone.
Whoa.
Stay and watch the game, and then we host the post-game party. We go at the 2-minute warning to the post-game party with Stick and Anson. Every home game, come party at the Brass Rail before, during, and after the game. We'll see you on Sunday.
Braylon, just a quick thought on what Chris said, talking about Kenneth Walker and how great he was. There is not a Kenneth Walker in the transfer portal every year unless
you got that cash.
That's it.
Unless you have that cash. Listen to schools like Michigan State, Michigan, Notre Dame, just like we talked about with the NIL, schools like that are trying to go about the right way. Whatever the hell that means. Maybe not the non-illegal way or the non-frown way, not just buying players. Schools like Michigan State, there's 2 types of players in the portal. You got your type of players that they got into it with the running back coach, if they're a running back, or, they just fell out of love for the school, or something happened. Somebody came in that was better, and it kind of messed their moral up. Something happened where they needed a change of scenery to get out of that school or that institution or being in that town. Maybe they went to school at a school that was in their hometown, and now, you know what? I've been here. I just don't have the mental to be here. I need to get far away from here. I need a fresh start. I need a do-over. That's a Kenneth Walker leaving Wake Forest and coming to Michigan State. Want to go to a bigger school, but I just need a do-over. Like, I'm not running the ball down here. I'm not where I want to be. That's that type of running back, and you get lucky. Those are called diamonds in the roughs. That was a diamond in the rough. You're not getting it. You heard from Chris Solari. You're not getting that type of transfer portal player every year. Broussard's a good dude. Birdie's a good dude, a good back. They're okay. They ain't nothing like Kenneth Walker. Then there's the other type of transfer portal play. The Caleb Williams of the world, the Jordan Addisons of the world, the Biletnikoff winner, who's now at USC, both of them together. Those are called how much money do you have in your pocketbook? Matt Ishbia, when you open up that pocketbook. Dan Gilbert, will you open up that pocketbook? Because that's the type of players that Michigan State's going to need to get Mel Tucker back on track. But you got to spend money to get them type of players. Guys like Kenneth Walker, they're not walking through your door every day. But guys like Jordan Addison, if the price is right, they will.
Top 10 Thursday coming at you right now after this. But first, a message from Cintron.
Cintron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings, and now for a limited time, they have combined all 3 of their flavors in a limited edition 6-pack. You can achieve that 6-pack, or you can get that 6-pack at CintronWorld.com/Red Wings. They are power partners of the Detroit Pistons. They are trying to re-energize the community, so let them. You see, we're getting on the right track. The Red Wings are on the right track. The Pistons are on the right track. The Lions seem to be on the right track. Even the Tigers hired Sky Harris and get on the right track. Why don't you get on the right track too with Cintron?
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Make sure you're listening to Woodward Sports all day long. Start your morning with the Morning Woodward Show. Spend middays with Big D Energy. Watch and listen your drive home with the Bottom Line. And don't forget about Woodward Bets Daily. All live, all right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
It is the Top 10 Thursday here on WoodwardSports.com. You got that right. Braylon Edwards, as he does each and every week, provides some of the greatest content that you will have. He breaks it down for you no matter the topic. He's got it top 10. Today's topic, Top 10 Thursday, is what, Braylon Edwards?
It is the top 10 players in the NFL. Let me grab my notes real quick.
Oh, yeah, do that, baby. We're just sitting here talking. We're real loose today on a Thursday, Tom Mazawey. Real loose over here.
Loosey-goosey, baby.
You know what? It's fun. Today, Braylon, and I do think we should mention this and have some fun with it at some point in the show. Braylon is going to Iowa City tomorrow. He's going to take part in some things for Fox Sports.
Yeah, remember what he did for the Big Ten championship game?
That's right. He'll have a watch party.
Just like that.
That's right. He'll have a watch party over there.
He'll be with Fox Sports in partnership. It's basically the number one tailgate in the land. It's Wendy's is a proud sponsor as well as Fox. So we'll just be talking about the game. It'll be myself and Big E.
Big E?
Big E, you know that's my
Get
guy.
Out of here.
Big E, I know you're a big Justin fan. JB is a big wrestling fan as well. Big E, who attended Iowa the same time I was in Michigan, E-Tour, if you will. Former WWE champion. He will be the Iowa guy. And we already have a great report, so it'll be fun.
No way, dude. That's cool.
Fun.
What's that like? So they fly you down and
you got R.J. Young, don't you?
Fly you over?
Yeah, R.J. Young is character.
That's your guy.
Make sure you ask him how come he didn't have Michigan in the top 25
Listen,
in the beginning of the year.
It's so funny. Like I tell you guys this all the time. When I play in the NFL, you play on teams. Guys come from all type of colleges, Ryan. They come from San Diego States, San Jose States, Eastern, Central, Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma, Wayne State, Joy. Like, they come from everywhere.
Tom Beer.
The one thing they all had in common, they all hated Michigan. Like, they all hate Michigan. They believe in our arrogance. They believe we're overhyped. They believe you can believe what you want to, but you know the one thing that isn't overhyped? It's the brand, baby. We are number one for a reason.
Look at that.
Now, the other stuff, yeah, we were overrated a lot.
Who's number one on the Top 10 Thursday?
Ooh, let's get to it. Coming in at number 10. And by the way, before we start this, gotta give credit to my man Fletch.
Oh man,
I wake him up in the morning. I say, "Hey Fletch, how you doing? How's your morning?" And then I instantly jump into all the stuff that I need for the show. Coming in at number 10, current 10 best players in the NFL. Stephon Diggs is number 1. They're on their second best offense in the NFL right now, and he has been the man child. I told you about the season. The number 1 position in sport, the number 2 position in terms of the pay is a wide receiver, which makes it the most important position, second most important position. And Stephon Diggs is at an exponential rate, leading in touchdowns and leading in receiving. Coming in at number 2, Nick Chubb. Number 9 is Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is the embodiment of guy that is there. All he does is get 100-yard games. All he does is go all the way to the end. All he does is win games. All he does is give me the ball, stay out of the way, I'll get you what you need. He is a walking 115, 16-yard game, and he's hard to bring down. And because of him, the Cleveland Browns are 2-1. And looking at a chance to be 3-0. And should be 3-0 with Deshaun Watson not even playing
Wait a minute here. Number 8.
That's a typo.
No, it's that's
why I was laughing.
Number 8 is a typo. Y'all know I don't get down like that. Number 8 is the other Cooper, and not Cooper Manning. It's Cooper Kupp, ladies and gentlemen. Cooper Kupp. I told you I send them in early in the morning. I told you I send them in early in the morning. Sometimes I don't always have my mind right as I'm writing down. Cooper Kupp, and the reason why I say Cooper Kupp, the Rams struggled opening game, but you know who was consistent in game 1? You know who was consistent in game 2? You know who's consistent in game 3? He has a touchdown in every game. He's keeping it going, regardless if he's got Odell Beckham on the other side. He's still keeping those guys in. So Cooper Rush, Mr. Triple Crown, is number 8. Number 7, Tua Tagovailoa. Now you ask, why isn't he higher? Well, look, I'm just like everybody else. Yeah, he's balling. They're 3-0, and I believe in them, but you still got to keep proving it. You still got to keep proving it. You got to keep showing and prove. Right now, he's balling out of control, but that Baltimore game, I mean, he did it in the fourth quarter. You want to see what they're going to do. He's a little bit banged up right now, but I got him as number 7 and climbing. Number 6, Patrick Mahomes. First game blowout. Next game they get a big win over the Los Angeles Chargers. Last week they lose to the Colts. Not looking good. He's fighting with Eric Bieniemy and such, but he's still Patrick Mahomes. He's still going to figure it out. A lot of new weapons at the wide receiver position, so it's going to take them time to kind of get that thing rolling. But once again, this is only going into week 4. Patrick Mahomes number 6 right now. Now show me 5 through 2.
Patrick Mahomes,
At
baby.
number 5, it's Tyreek Hill or Tyreek, depending on how you want to pronounce it. His mama called him Tyreek. I'm going to call him Tyreek. The boy is still balling. You see, he still has that ability. You get him the ball, Brian, it doesn't matter when in the game. He is a walking 60-yarder waiting to happen. It can be double coverage, triple coverage. He's going to outrun the coverage. You saw he did that against the Baltimore Ravens. He's still that guy, and you know Patrick Mahomes is missing him like the infamous Wolverine and Jean Grey picture with Wolverine laying on the bed. Coming in at number 4, it's the man everyone doubted, Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. I have him at number 4. Now, I know you're like, well, why isn't he higher? Because that's as high as he can go right now. He's balling out of control. They're undefeated. He has chance to be number 1. I think he's also number 4 right now in Vegas in terms of the MVP odds. He's number 4, but he's balling out of control. His efficiency is what he's gotten better at this year. He's taking what's there. He's trusting his arm, getting the ball down the field as well, and he's running as good as he ever has. Number 3, Maz, I'm sorry to do this to you. I know whenever we talk about it, it's PTSD for you of the 2020 draft. Micah Parsons, 4 sacks on the season.
Mazza Parsons.
Dak Prescott gets injured. Dak Prescott gets injured. The season's over. Everybody are counting the Cowboys out. I didn't have the Cowboys in the playoffs before Dak Prescott was injured. Now it's over. But not so fast, because you still have that defense. And obviously DeMarcus Lawrence ball on Monday night. But that's because everybody was wearing Ryan Ermanni. All the offensive lines and the tight ends, who are they chipping to? Who are they shading towards? Micah freaking
He's
Parsons.
so good,
He doesn't
Maz.
even have to have a tackle to impact the game. Micah Parsons, number 3 on the list. Number 2 is Josh Allen. Look, they took a loss, 90 offensive plays. He still had 400 yards, still had 2 touchdowns. He had no interceptions. They didn't get the job done, but that doesn't take him out of being 1 or 2 in this list. Maz?
I just want to know where the other Jalen is.
Jalen Waddle?
Yeah.
Now, Jalen Waddle's had good games, but that's also in representation of Tyreek Hill. If you got 4 guys on Tyreek Hill and you got another guy over here that runs 4-3-1, that guy's going to be open the line. He's going to take advantage.
You don't want to put a slash next to Tyreek?
Nah, because Tyreek is the reason Jalen's so open. And Jalen's balling, but you're talking top 10 players in the league right now. Jalen's not one of them, but he's balling. Trust me, there's some good players that got left off.
I'm trying to figure out who number 1 is, by the way.
I thought you were going to surprise me and say Waddle.
Well, first and foremost, all y'all calm down right now. You should know who it is. It's very easy. We've been talking.
Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Everyone talks about him. And number 2, Jalen Waddle's doing his thing, but he's not the top 10 players in the league right now. Shoot, I got Khalil Mack's not on there. He has 4 sacks with the Los Angeles Chargers. Number 2, Josh Allen, still running the same offense. He's still balling. He's still doing his thing. Although they lost, many people still have them as the best team in the league. Although they lost.
Oh, I know who number 1 is.
Exactly. Many people still know that he's there, and they're going to be there at the end. But number 1, you know what time it is.
You know what time it is.
Put him up there.
Get up.
By himself.
Get up there.
Oh, there he is.
Look Lamar
Get out of your
freaking
seat,
Jackson. You know,
Lamar
you know
freaking
what time
Jackson.
it is.
Number one in the league in efficiency right now. Number one in touchdowns thrown. Number one in touchdowns accumulated. Also number 4 in rushing in the NFL right now. They told the man we didn't want to pay you, and you know what he told him? Yesterday's price ain't today's price.
That's not today's
He's broke,
price.
man. He's broke.
$23 million a year. That
Pay
man
him.
broke. I'm gonna tell you like this, and this is another caveat. What Lamar Jackson and what Aaron Judge did this year is going to impact sport. Because now you're going to have guys that don't feel the need to take the deal, that don't feel the need to bend to your will and say, you know what, all right, cool, we'll take that deal. They'll bet on themselves because he's still making $23 million a year. What are you going to tell Lamar Jackson if he finishes 75% of the way the season started? What are you going to tell him? Hey, here's $400 million. Exactly. Aaron Judge and Lamar Jackson have changed sports. I promise you, because players are no longer going to take what you give them. They're going to play for themselves.
You know what time it is.
You know what time it is. Who gave that team to you before the season started? Who gave it to you?
It was Maz.
That's my team to win it.
And you picked him MVP.
Get him a running back. Get him a running back. And they're unstoppable.
Where's Igwabuke?
He's on our practice squad. J.K. Dobbins, let's go.
Well, one more week for Dobbins, right?
Yeah,
one
let's
more
go.
week for Dobbins, and then he goes. Braylon, great job there. Hard to argue, man.
What time is it?
That was so
Me
exciting.
and Flex had to put him on a page by himself.
I love it.
That's how good
dirty
his
bird.
season has been.
Look
I
at
love
that
it.
dirty bird.
Guys, let me tell you about this. Guardian Alarm, they're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. You see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house. Yet it tells the bad guys one thing: stay out. Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 local monitoring. Make sure what is important to you stays safe. Call that number right now, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call that number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey, it's big boy time. Wish I was there, just like last week. Let me go back in time and have that patty melt. But you know what? For a limited time only, the all-new burgers and loaded fries are there at Big Boy. It's not the Big Jim. It is the Big Jim. Not the Slim Jim. It's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. How about that bacon blue burger? How about upgrading those fries? You don't want just plain fries. You want chili cheese fries, nacho fries, baked potato fries. They got it all. How about those shakes? Outstanding. You got to get there and satisfies those taste buds at Big Boy.
There you have it. Guys, having so much fun. We're going to do our pick segment actually today because both Braylon and I are out tomorrow. But before we do that, Maz, want to go around the NFL? Some big news and notes happening around the league.
Let's start it off tonight. You got to find Amazon. Let me talk to my remote. Amazon Prime. Wait 5 minutes. It pops up. Yes, let me find the game.
Tonight, by the way.
It's the Bungles and the Dolphins. Bengals, and they're all white. Dolphins, and they're, I don't know, maybe all aqua tonight. I love, of course, the throwback Dolphin logo I had on yesterday. But it's going to be a good game, I think. They've got some good ones on Thursday night now.
Yeah, they got some good ones on Thursday night. You know, with Cincinnati, you just want to see them protect Joe Burrow. I mean, it starts and ends with the protection of Joe Burrow as JB wears the JB Smooth shirt. And I ain't talking about JB Smooth from Real Husbands of L.A. and Hollywood. Yo, you got to protect this dude. Because it's getting to the point now, Ryan and mine, where teams aren't even sending 8. they're not sending the full house because they don't have to. That's how bad the offensive line is. It doesn't matter that you have 4 potential Pro Bowl players on your team. Jamar Chase is a Pro Bowler. Joe Mixon is a Pro Bowler. T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd both can be Pro Bowlers, and Joe Burrow is. If you can't protect this guy, you're going to not only lose games, you're going to get him killed.
Now, they might not. Tunga Vailoa was on the list. Put up that injury list there. He will play tonight, but he is definitely banged up. And the Dolphins need full strength to beat this. Jalen Waddle banged up as well. So let's see how that one goes. We'll move on now.
Take that step.
How about the NFL TV ratings, Ryan? I want you to read these. They are through the roof. The top 19 shows are NFL games, man.
Yeah. Top 19 shows at the start of 2022 are NFL programs. Also, 17.2 million viewers per NFL game.
Wow.
That is up 1% from this time a year ago. You're talking 27.5 million people watch Cincinnati and Dallas. How about 26.5 million people watching Green Bay and Tampa Bay? Tampa Bay involved in 2 of the top 5 games so far this year. Incredible. Green Bay also in there. They love Aaron Rodgers. They love Tom Brady. Incredible numbers.
We as Americans love our sports. Leave that up there for me, Fletch, just for a second. People, we love our sports as American. American is built on sports. Like, that's what we have over every country in the world. We are a sports dynamo as it relates to that. The other thing that people love and why they watch TV is storylines. You get a dose of both when you watch a sports game. You get storylines, all these commercials, all these ad advertisements, all these sponsorship and these companies. All they do is pitch to football. You got Trevor Lawrence doing Gatorade commercials with little kids in the inner city throwing the football. They create the storylines. All they talk about all last year is Matt Stafford. Oh, how Detroit did him wrong. They built a storyline that lasted all the way to the Super Bowl, and they won. The Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Aaron Rodgers is always in the news. Now you continue to create storyline. People want to watch sports, and they want to watch the storyline that American public TV access they create.
King Horse hit the nail on the head with this, though. The power of legalized sports gambling.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot in any way, shape, or form downplay the significance of that. I don't want to put anybody's business out, but I know somebody in this building that wouldn't probably watch Thursday Night Football, but now they are because they're putting $10 on the game.
Yep.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's like it's fantasy.
Think about that.
No,
that's another click for Amazon tonight.
He's right. He's 1,000%, man. I appreciate your comment in there in the comment section. He's 1,000% right because fantasy football. I remember when fantasy football came in the inception in terms of everybody was doing it before, but Yahoo took it to that next level in 2008. The numbers went up when fantasy football is created. Now you add betting to it with fantasy, hit the nail on the head.
Chiefs and Bucks, by the way, Sunday night game. That will remain
in Tampa
Bay.
Very good.
Well, let me continue here. Chargers Joey Bosa out for the year. He'll have groin surgery. Out for the year.
Bosa's and Watts,
that's
to me,
something,
are
man.
two guys, the 2 names that can't stay healthy.
Now, here's a story for you. Jonathan Taylor, JT, his practice streak ended. He's out with a toe injury. Probably going to play on Sunday. Yeah. But this guy has not missed a practice
since high school.
Since the Pee-wees.
Oh, yeah.
Before high school.
Isn't that amazing?
I don't even know if they allow that to happen anymore.
And you
right?
Like it's one of those achievements that you're listening to it and you're very excited about it. And this is Jonathan Taylor misses his first ever practice. Taylor missed practice on Wednesday due to a toe injury. Until Wednesday, Taylor had never missed a practice between Salem High School at the University of Wisconsin or the Indianapolis Colts.
Incredible,
but
man.
It's one of those things. It's a great achievement. It is incredible. And you look at, you call him an Iron Man, the thing you love. That's something that Brett Favre used to take extreme joy in. It's being an Iron Man. But at the running back position, what are you thinking now? How many times has he been hit? How many hits has he taken since high school? You know they like to run the hell out of the ball at Wisconsin. How much longer will he be able to operate at this pace? Then you start thinking, now you can see how the wheels turn if you're a front office guy, a GM guy, where they may do something crazy after 6 years as it relates to Jonathan Taylor.
Speaking of Brett Favre, Katie Strang had a story today in The Athletic. Now it looks like the Favre Foundation has used funds that were supposed to be given to kids with cancer, underprivileged kids. We already know about him supposedly taking from Mississippi's welfare. Now there's a little thing going out there, Ryan, and this is an excerpt.
Let me read it because we
From The
believe,
Athletic.
we believe this to be an actual quote. The Athletic put this out. This guy is just a sicko. Here's the story. Reached at his house for comment. Brett turned on the old gunslinger charm that found itself wearing thin recently. Quote, "It's just astounding the hypocrisy from some of y'all," Favre said. "I mean, heck, do you support Title IX or not? Now my daughter is being persecuted for having a state-of-the-art volleyball facility because her dad worked for a living." End quote. Favre's mental gymnastics at this point would make one of the, I can't say the gymnast name, but it was whatever. Here's another quote.
There you go.
It's like
Terry Lipinski.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
There you go.
It's like y'all can't have me sending messages on my phone trying to hook up with a young woman, but you don't want me trying to help them out either. Make up your minds. After one reporter pointed out that this was an issue with welfare fraud, not women, Favre got even more defensive. Quote, I don't know much about welfare. All I know is we'll fare a lot better as a society once we get back to a little thing I call accountability instead of trying to take my something away.
Yeah, how about you try some accountability?
This is all off the record, by the way, he said.
That's what he said, off the record. It's from Pardon the Interruption.
Pardon my take.
Pardon my take. So, take it for what it is.
This dude is legit nuts.
He's a thief. It's
a crook.
It's terrible. I mean, he took funds from the Favre Foundation that was supposed to go to cancer patients, and he funneled $130,000 over to Southern Mississippi University for that volleyball.
They don't even have
building.
drinking water in that state. It is like another Flint. It is the poorest state in our union.
I only have one thing to say about this. I laugh at this whole situation. The notion that this guy is still being made excuses for. People are still allowing him the space and the platform to talk and say outlandish things like, well, we got to practice a little thing called accountability, and giving him a platform. Meanwhile, he's not in jail. Where I've known people that have gone to jail for a lot less. The fact that we're giving this attention is hilarious. I wouldn't, but he should be there now.
Well, you got to go through a process.
Yeah, a process. But he's still being allowed to make excuses for it. People are coming out lobbying, making excuses for it. Like, I just laugh that they're making excuses for this guy.
Piston fan says that's a parody.
I won't mention his name again.
But, who knows? I've looked it up, but I read the article. I didn't see it in the article, but you know what? Who knows?
Said that what happened?
Who knows? They think it's a parody. In other words, it might not be true.
Well,
the quote, but
even
he
if
still stole.
The facts are the facts of the actual where the money went. I thought this was real. If it's not, forgive me. Maybe it is a parody. I don't know. But it was in the Athletic, right? Or no?
PFT.
Yeah, PFT, Pro Football Team. Very good. I don't know.
It got weird just now.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I took it for, I don't know. I thought it was real. If it's not real, forgive me. Dude took money from a welfare fund.
That's real.
And funneled it over.
That's real.
It's real.
And he took money from his own
charity his own
and
foundation.
funneled that over. Those are real.
That's real.
Yeah.
Those are real.
So anyway, Piston fan is insistent that was a parody. If it is, I apologize for reading it as fact. But I was given bad information.
But listen. But once again, listen to this though. Piston fan is out there still lobbying on behalf of Brett Favre.
No, he's not. I disagree with that because either he said it or he didn't. I mean, I do want to be factual about.
But how about but with that being said, how about he say, hey, that's a parody, but he's still a piece of know what?
Well, that's the next tweet.
Well, then say that. Don't keep talking about. Well, no, that's a parody.
Right.
No, that's a parody.
Right.
Well, even if it is, we know to be true what he's done.
Right.
Funnel funds from the welfare.
Those are facts.
Those are facts.
Right.
Funnel funds from welfare in Mississippi. Funnel funds from his charity. Those are not parodies.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
Anything else? Is that the last NFL
That's
news?
it. We got to get our picks in.
Picks next. Gypsy vodka, though. Got to have some Gypsy vodka tonight.
Right now.
Do we?
Thank you. You don't even drink, Maz.
I know.
Did we do Gypsy?
I don't know. It's on the board there.
I think I did. I said the summer of. All right.
Look at that.
All right, here we go. The Mulligan, 8% alcohol seltzer from Gypsy Vodka. Adam and Mike, you got it right this time with this one. It is amazing. And let me not say you got it right this time, because you get it right every time, whether you're Gypsy, whether it's the bourbon or the whiskey. But now it's in the Mulligan. Iced tea, lemonade, and mango are the flavors. Don't outsource. Stay in state. Support Michigan distillers. But remember at all times, if you're going to drink, whether it's the golf course, whether it's at home, whether it's watching the game on Sunday, you got to do it responsibly.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Right. All right, here we go. Woodward Sports Network. Final segment of the program.
Should I have shut up since the show
Playoffs.
I apologize. I've been running my yap.
No, I haven't noticed that.
By the way, earlier I did say Reuben Foster. I apologize. Somebody in the chat, Maz, called it out. I meant to say Roquan Smith, the linebacker for the Chicago Bears. That's why Maz alluded to the 49ers, because that's where Reuben Foster got drafted.
All right, here we go. It is time for the pick segment, because we're doing it today in lieu of tomorrow, because neither Braylon nor I will be here tomorrow. Adam Baydoun and the Great Stick will be your host tomorrow, along with Tom Mazawey. It'll be Tom Mazawey with Stick and Adam.
I'm getting top billing tomorrow.
Do I get the win for the Lions game last week?
Yeah.
Okay. So
You're not getting the win for the Lions game.
They covered.
I caught the Lions. Well, no, because I picked Minnesota. But,
oh no, you don't get the win.
But remember I told you exactly what was going to happen in the game.
Okay.
I called.
Give him the win.
I caught Maz. If you tell me something,
You want me to quote you?
Yes.
Your quote was this: I think the Lions are due for a down game. I think the Vikings are going to kill them. Then you said they're going to win by 4.
If he said they were going to win by 4, I got to give it to him.
Thank you.
Okay.
If I said exactly,
because if you bet with a bookie, and you said,
because he would have gave me a side.
If you said, give me the Vikings.
Go ahead, take the win.
And they're going to win by 4.
And they're going to win by 4.
And they won by 4.
But the line was Vikings minus 5.
6. 5.5. Yeah.
He'd say, you know what?
Thank you.
Pay me.
I called it. That's all, but I called it exactly.
Go ahead, Maz. What do we got this week? What are our records? Maz, you had a 7-0 week last week?
Yeah, I had a good week.
Oh, my gosh. Maz is now on top.
I'm 12-9. We're tired, me and you.
All right, fine. We can change it. Change the record.
You lead us off.
Change the record. All right, Seahawks at Lions. Lions minus 4.5. I'm going to take the Lions must-win game.
I bet against the Lions every week. I'm taking the Seahawks.
Oh, God, this is so hard for me.
I'm taking the Seahawks.
I mean, I thought the Lions were a slam
Hey, JB,
dunk.
give me something a little more than this elevator music. It's making me depressed.
I thought the Lions were a slam dunk in this game. I really did. But all these
NBA young boys.
They have nobody. They have no one left on the team. How are they going to score?
Safeties.
Give me the Seahawks.
We don't have all day.
Give me the Seahawks plus the points.
Okay, let's go. Bears at Giants. The G-Men. Battle of nobody expected this one to be 2-1. 2-1.
Yeah.
Somebody's fallen to 2-2. Who is it? Giants minus 3 at home. Bray?
I'm taking the Giants.
Yeah.
You taking the Giants over the Bears?
I am. The Giants.
Short week.
The Bears haven't shown. First of all, the Bears haven't shown me anything. They haven't shown me anything on offense. They haven't shown me anything on defense.
Yeah, you're right.
You could point out to that rain game that I didn't give them or San Francisco credit or non-credit.
I'm taking the G-Men.
Me too. G-Men. 3 ways G-Men.
Oh, no Sterling Shepard. Maybe Kenny Galladay have an appearance.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one.
Bet the over on Kenny Galladay this week.
Put him in the bench.
This one is going to be interesting. In London, the Vikings are a 3-point favorite against the New Orleans Saints. Giants. I believe Jameis Winston is not playing. I don't know who their quarterback is. Is it
Taysom Hill?
Taysom Hill and Simeon.
I'm going to go with New Orleans just because I'm going to root for New Orleans. So I don't want to do that. Give me New Orleans and the points.
Where's Andy Dalton? Is Andy Dalton with the Saints?
I don't know. Is Andy Dalton there?
He might be.
I'm still taking Minnesota. I'm taking Minnesota Vikings.
You're right. He might be.
I think that's where Andy Dalton is. I have to.
The Red Rifle?
Dang. The Red Rifle.
I think you're right.
He's always good for one. He's always good for one. But I'm going to stick with the Vikes. I called them earlier in the year, and so far they're 2-1.
The Vikings escaped last week.
They did.
With their lives.
They did.
Wow. Now they go to London.
Maybe that catapults them moving forward.
All right, give me the Vikings. Lay the points.
Okay.
Saints for you?
Yeah, Saints for me. Fourth game on
Wow,
our radar.
look at this game.
Broncos and Raiders. Raiders 0-3, a favorite at home by 2.5. I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think they get off the schneid
You
here.
skipped the game.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay,
Raiders.
never mind. Forget about. Well, look, can we just do the Raiders anyway?
Yes,
Sure.
we can.
Give me the Raiders.
To get
Las
off
Vegas.
the schneid, I'll go right with you.
I think Denver's terrible.
Yep. Give me the Raiders to win their first game and cover that number.
Denver is just not good in my opinion.
I've never seen a team with so much talent and be so bad, which lets me know it's not the team. It's Nathaniel Hackett. They're going to start moving in the right direction. I think this is the game to do it. Give me the Broncos.
All right, Denver. And then the game I skipped, Bills and Ravens, game of the weekend.
Wow.
Could be a preview of the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
The Bills, the Chiefs, and the Ravens, to me, that is must-see TV, these teams right now. I'll take the Ravens, home dog. I mean, I'm taking points in this game. You know, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking points. Baltimore.
You want to pick or you want me to go?
I'm taking the Ravens.
Okay.
I'm taking the Ravens. I'm sticking with Lamar Jackson. You called it at the beginning of the season. I'm going to stay with this. And I still think the Bills are the best team in the league, but they got a lot of injuries. Poyer being out for the year. Micah Hyde still being out.
He's out for the year.
Exactly. Oliver on the defensive line is still out. They got a lot of injuries, man. And they're going to come up, and they're going to creep up. Lamar Jackson, give me the Ravens.
I like the Bills to win this game because last week they lost. They ain't losing 2 weeks in a row.
I don't disagree with you. I just, on principle, that's a principle bet for me.
Yeah.
To take the points in the Ravens at home.
Not to
That's
mention
fine.
that offense was on the field. 90 plays in that heat last week. They're still not recovered from that.
I'm taking the Bills.
All right, guys. A couple more to go. Pats and the Pack. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'm going to be right in my 7-win proclamation for Green Bay. But it was fun while it lasted. Green Bay at 10
3
point,
games, you're quitting?
10-point favorite. I am going to take New England in this game, though. I am. Give me the points. I'll take the points in this one. It looks too easy to go Pack without Mac Jones, but Bill Belichick will have something dialed up for Aaron Rodgers.
Brian Hoyer.
It's called a ball-headed quarterback named Brian Hoyer. Give me the Packers, man. I think this is the game that, because the thing about the Packers, Maz, and I called it, I said, you know, whatever, no need for that. This is going to be the game that Aaron Rodgers takes that step. They're starting to figure it out. They still got both running backs. The offensive line is a lot better this year. Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. Now you got your receivers coming in. I think this is the game where Aaron finally has that 385, 4-touchdown game that we're used to seeing him have.
Did the Patriots lose last week?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
The Ravens beat them, right? Yeah. Give me the Packers. Lay that 10 points.
Okay. You know, I would never bet my own picks.
I know.
For real.
That's a tough game, man, still.
It is. Okay, guys, another game. Chiefs at Bucks.
I'm
Bucks.
changing my mind.
What are you doing?
Give me the Pats and the points.
Pats and the points. Okay, you're
Give me the
allowed to
Pats
do
and the
that.
points. Not a bad
bet.
Chiefs and Bucks quickly.
Night game.
Night game. I'm going home dogs. They're going to win one for the area for Florida. Tampa Bay. Win it outright.
Chiefs have struggled. They miss Tyreek Hill. I think Brady gets Mike Evans back. They need a win, and like you said, whenever there's a disaster, people in that area tend to play well. So, shouts out to Tampa, which everybody's praying for everybody down there. I'm going with the Bucs.
Are they always home? It seems like they're home every freaking
I know.
game.
They're going to go on the road a lot.
They lost by 1 last week, and they're getting 1.5 at home. I'm taking the Chiefs to cover that with ease. Give me KC.
All right, Maz, I'll drop this off for you guys. Hell of a show out of you guys today. Braylon, quickly, where can people find you in Iowa City this weekend?
I'll send it. They're doing it on foxsports.com as well as Fox Sports Twitter. And then Wendy's is doing it as well on their Twitter. So you'll be able to click on Twitter Wendy's, you'll be able to click on Twitter Fox Sports, and it'll just pop up kind of like we used to be. So that being said, I'll tweet it out. You can find it on my Twitter.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
That's what's up.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun to go down there to Iowa. Here's a stat. I haven't gone to any Big Ten stadium since I've been done playing football in college. The only one I went to the game, the 1-2 Ohio State-Michigan game in 2006. I've gone to no Michigan State at State. I've gone to no West Lafayette games. I've gone to no whiteouts at Penn State. Good luck with that drinking beer with all those with 112,000 strong.
Just a quick update. We were going to have Gus Johnson on today. It was a little surprise for you guys because he's doing the Michigan game. He was traveling, so he's coming on next Friday with us. He's doing the Indiana-Michigan game.
Love it.
He's doing it with Brady.
Yep, he's doing it with Brady. So Brady said we could call him again next week. And Gus Johnson will be on next Friday.
And Mike Tannenbaum will be on Wednesday. So
Big week.
Woo-hoo.
Woodward Sports Network. Break, get us out of here, my friend.
Hey, look, man, it's been a great week for us. We won't be in tomorrow. That is me and Ryan. But guess what? Maz will still be in. Filling in will be Adam Bay doing as well as my man Sam Day, a.k.a. Stick. So it should be a great show as
Adam
always.
Morrissey said he's going to punch in tomorrow as well.
Oh,
good.
Lord.
Adam
Well,
Morrissey.
good. Fine, he's on the clock. But we appreciate you. We can't do this show without you guys. We say it all the time. We appreciate the people in the chat having conversation, asking us questions. Feel like we're getting better, but we're still got more room to go. For my man JB in the booth wearing the Joe Burrow 9. Oh, my guy to the right, my right tackle. Fletch with the Carhartt hat. Uncle Maz on the couch, and my brother from another mother to the left. Woo-hoo! We are Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. See you later.